wow. It's encouraging just to hear that. It's like, where is that girl? Thank you. My name is Alma Ruth. I am from Northern Mexico, Monterrey. And I am a recent immigrant to the United States. As PJ was saying, I'm part of the first generation of Mexican missionaries that is serving in a global context. We originally came to the border, to this specific part of the border, to share Jesus with the Islamic community. We have a huge Islamic community here. And when border crisis started to happen, I started to learn more about it. And it's until now that is safe for me to be involved with this. And I don't know how much you guys know about the border, but it's a mess. It's a mess. The immigration system in the United States needs reform. And I can assure you, we can talk afterwards, but I can assure you that is why they don't come the legal way. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And in my case, I focus on serving asylum seekers, which means they are people who are fleeing horrific circumstances to come and find refuge in our borders. And under the past administration, so many changes happened that they weren't allowed to come into the United States. So they were stuck in Mexico. And the Mexican border, sadly, are some of the most dangerous places on earth, like Syria, Iraq, type of thing, because of organized crime. And it is a very challenging thing to do because first and foremost, we focus on that verse that PJ was reading, to act justly and to love mercy, because as people of faith, we must see immigration through our faith, not through our partisan or political views. We cannot do that. The Lord has demanded of us to be the salt of the earth, to be the light of the world. And we have to do that, and to give mercy is even if someone, when we think that doesn't deserve it. But I think I want to invite you to think about that, because so many things have been permeated through the lens of politics. As people of faith, and especially you guys in your generation, we cannot afford to do that. The witness of the gospel is at risk in this generation because the hippies, the left wings, the whatever name or label you want to use, are the ones that are on the ground saving lives. And very few churches, like I can give you an example. I asked for prayer in a ladies' Bible study, and I serve women and children who are refugees on the Mexican side of the border. I take from feminine pads, diapers, wipes, prenatal vitamins, anything that they can use. These are people living on the dirt, on tents, for over a year and a half. They have braved hurricanes, they have braved tropical storms, they have braved freezing temperatures. I was there on Monday and it was 22 degrees. And they don't have the proper clothing. It is, and you have some of my friends are pregnant, some of my friends have newborns, some of my friends have toddlers. And we, praise God, we had the Archibald Project brought some jackets and gloves and blankets and basic stuff. But the most important thing that I do is that I pray with them. It's a grassroots, holistic, relational initiative where we don't do, I don't really even know the fullness of the term decolonize. I don't yet, but I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. And so, what's the meaning of that? Because our faith, to begin with, was born in the Middle East. And, as Chris was mentioning about sharing with Muslims, we live for short term in Turkey, the West Bank, and North India. So we're familiar with South Asian Islam and Middle Eastern Islam. And we have here in McAllen, Texas, the border, we have a huge Islamic community. So I have a very close contact with two sheikhs in the community. And they call me sister, which is a huge compliment coming from a Muslim sheikh. That means you are almost as good to be a Muslim girl. And so I respect that and I appreciate that, you know, and they dress traditionally, you know, and so it is very interesting to see that. But remember what the Lord said in the Gospel of Matthew, that they will see your good actions and glorify your Father who is in heaven. And you will know them by your love. They will know you're my disciples by your love. You know, the world doesn't need any more judgment, any more scapegoats, any more negative vibes, whatever that means, you know, but they need hope. They need hope. And you and I know that the hope is in Christ. And, you know, and it's one of the things that challenged me when I served in Cuba. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm Alma Ruth. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. That's in northern Mexico. If you want to defrost, you can fly into McAllen. We have a tiny airport, but you can fly into McAllen and we can just go across the border. I promise to feed you very good Mexican food. And don't ask me for Chinese or Italian because we don't really have many options. But we do have a airport. I'm not telling the dates, but I graduated from Bible College a long time ago. And I've been serving in cross-cultural international missionary work since 1990. I think many of you guys weren't even made at that year, but you know, I've been in missions for a long time. I served in Cuba. We smuggled Bibles into Havana until I was arrested by the Cuban military. Strip search. They took my passport, and all those horror stories and from the communist nations, they're true. They're true. And God in his mercy allowed me to tell the tale. And we led Mexican seminary students to serve in different parts of the world. We led teams from northern Mexico to serve in Honduras. We took a bus from northern Mexico to Honduras once. Loco, once, that's it. And then we led teams to Slovakia, Czech Republic, North India, West Bank, Turkey. You know, it was super cool to travel. And when you know, I have a hypothesis. I think I need to trademark this, but you don't have to grow up until you have children. And that's very true. You know, when you're single and you're serving God, you are the ultra spiritual 4K HD, you know, person that is going to change the world. You're invincible. You just go and, you know, and it's enjoy your life as a single person. You know, it's you and God, whatever the Lord tells you, as crazy as it sounds, go for it. Travel, serve God, take challenges, do what you always wanted to do. You know, please do enjoy your singleness. And once you start dating, well, beware. You know, you gave your heart to someone, so you're gonna miss him, you're gonna miss her, and then, you know, it's different. And then you get married and you realize that you need to grow up. You realize how selfish we are. This is my pillow. This is my side of the bed. I go to the shower first. I need to wash my hair today, you know, and you realize that you're not that spiritual. You know, that happened to me. I mean, it's like, I'm this ultra mega super spiritual missionary chick. What do you mean that is like, you know, and and then when I had children, it's like, OMG, I'm responsible for this little person, you know, and I'm the mom, so I'm stuck, right? I'm Mexican, I'm a Mexican girl, so I'm responsible for this little baby. So you single people, please change the world. Go do whatever you want. Don't get married young. Finish your career, travel, serve in Czech Republic, serve in India. You know, you're free. You know, you're such a blessing. And being married is a blessing too. You know, I mean, don't take me wrong, but it is such a blessing to be a single person, you know, and I don't mean this wrongly, but it's enjoy your season. Enjoy your season, because now that I am responsible for my children, I have two boys that are special needs. One is in the autistic spectrum, he's 14, and the other one is 11. And he's clinically ADHD. It's like a chihuahua on espresso. And they go with me to the refugee camp. They help me to carry suitcases, and we park in Brownsville, Texas, and we cross International Bridge with donations. Every time the three of us cross the border, is around 500 pounds of stuff that we take in, by land, by food. And all of this to say that everything you do for God, and I was listening to one of the girls that was saying, pray to see what career am I gonna do. You better choose something you like. My family went through a crisis 5 years ago, and now it's my boys and I, due to some safety concerns, and people were telling me that I couldn't be a single missionary with children, and it wasn't a moral failure. It wasn't anything on that. It was a mental health issue and safety concerns. And so I tried to be normal for like a couple of years, and it was like The Walking Dead, right? I mean, it's like, it sucked, and so, it's just like, this is not, until the Lord gave me a wake-up call with a fright for breast cancer. And if I have 30 days to live, what would I do with my life? And the Lord, just asking me that question, what would you do, with your life? At the end of your life, you're going to face Jesus face to face, and he's going to ask you, what do you do with the time I gave you? And when you face your own mortality, that this is happening to me, I spoke with my brother. If something happens to me, you take care of my boys. My family lives in another country. They're US citizens. My family is not. So it was a mess. And so at the end of my oncological stay at the hospital in Mexico, because I'm a recent immigrant, so I had no access to healthcare at all. I had to go to Mexico to see an oncologist. And they released me and said, well, we don't see the malignancy, so we can let you go. And the Lord really, really shook me, and if I had 30 days, what would I do? Well, I will walk to Cuba. I will go back to the Middle East. I will go back to North India with my children. That's the DNA of who I am. And that really changed my perspective on everything, because so many mentors and pastoral advisors and opinions because I'm female, I'm an immigrant, and I'm Mexican. So all males in leadership had the wisdom to tell me what to do with my life and my children's lives. But at the end, it is me that will see Jesus face to face and will ask me what to do with my life. So thank you, but no thank you. I'm resuming missions ministry. As Practice Mercy, God was born, and God is guiding us in everything. And we started at the refugee camp in Christmas of 2019 with clothes that my children weren't using anymore. So it was just me, and I stepped at the refugee camp, and I said, Lord, I have no connections. I don't know anybody. I'm here because you are sending me. So you better speak to me clearly. I need somebody that I can trust, and God did. God has guided us. We have now ministry partners inside the camp. And something that I want to say before I forget is, and I want you to please remember this. This is one of the most important things I want you to remember of this talk, of so many things that we're speaking, is the majority of asylum seekers, the majority of refugees from Central America are Christian evangelicals. I will repeat this. The majority of the refugees from Central America are Christian evangelicals that are fleeing horrendous circumstances. You and I can face all kinds of threats, all kinds of dangers, no problem. But when our child, our daughter, our boy faces rape, faces threats from a gang, faces, to be recruited by the organized crime in Central America, which is very powerful, that's another story. And so inside the Matamoros refugee camp, there's several churches. There's several pastors that are there, because unlike the United States, outside the West, outside the United States, people who are Christians, we just get killed. We don't have guns. We have no access to guns. So bad guys just come and kill us. They just come and rape our daughters. They just come and recruit our boys to sell drugs or to be part of the organized crime, or they get killed. So it is a very complex situation, and there's really not a path for legal immigration or for work, so these people pay $10,000 per person for a human smuggler, a coyote that is called, to come to the southern border. And they just drop them. Some drown, some die in the desert. And these are horrendous circumstances, you know, and I can tell you so many stories. One of my partners, ministry partners at the refugee camp, his mother died in the desert because the human smuggler left her there and they ran out of water. She died in the desert. And so, you know, that's the reality of immigration. Is we don't hear in Fox News, we don't hear in CNN, but it's a reality on the ground for people like me who serve these people. And these people, they just want to work. They want to work. They want to give, not to have a better life. They want to live. They want to have an opportunity for life, to be alive. And so it is, I want you to remember this one thing. The majority of asylum seekers who is a class before being a refugee are Christian evangelicals. The majority of the Northern Triangle, which is Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. And all the mess that we have in this part of Central America, the lack of infrastructure, the poverty, the corruption, all of that is because of the meddling with foreign policy since the 40s. You know Fidel Castro in Cuba, right? You know, he was a dictator, he was a bad guy, all of that. Well, all that mess, you know, Jeff Kennedy, Bay of Pigs, and the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm giving you history stuff. I'm losing you. Okay. Well, it's a foreign policy. It's a mess in foreign policy, you know, so we have meddled with the government of these countries. So they're unstable. You don't see people coming here from Puerto Rico. You don't hear people, oh, they're floating our border from Panama or from Costa Rica. They're cool. It's this Northern Triangle, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. And these 4 countries is called the Northern Triangle. And it's where American foreign policy has heavily intervened at the same since 30s and 40s. So we are reaping the consequences of that. And I strongly believe that if we can open a path for work, okay, you're going to come here and work. You know, I'm not an expert in immigration. I have to learn because I'm facing it every day, right? But I think we can create a way to serve people with dignity. In this case, what we do is relational. We know their names. We know what country they're from. We know what they're fleeing from. We have seen them sending their children in inner tubes, in tires, across the Rio Grande River so they can escape the cartel crimes. And that is heartbreaking because you don't know if you're going to see them again. So am I losing you? Am I okay? Are you okay? Okay. So much information. I'm sorry if I'm boring you with this, but I wanted to see if I can remember how. Can I share something? I have a cool presentation that I want. Do we have time for just a quick slide thing?
Yes, you have about 4 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if how can I
think Andrew right now is going to make you co-host. There you go. You should be good.
Okay. And so I don't know if you have, we don't have enough time to show you this, but so asylum seekers are like refugees. It's the step before refugees. And so I can take 5 questions. Does anybody has a question about things? You understood everything or you didn't understand anything? You know, that's one or the other. But do I serve in high risk area? Yes. Is it cartel control? Yes. Do I risk my life every time I cross the international bridge into Mexico? Yes. Do the cartel knows I'm there? Yes. Can you save my life through prayer? Yes. We need prayer. We need sponsors that we can continue doing this. I'm part of the first generation of Mexican missionaries serving in a global context. And the verse that the Lord spoke to me very strongly for you guys today is in 1 Timothy 4:12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech, life, love, faith, and purity. So you guys are young and you're cool and you have a blessing to be born in the United States and you speak English and you have access to technology. You have access to so many things, and people risk their lives and their children's lives to come to the United States. Please don't waste your life. Please don't waste your time. Don't waste your resources. You know, my friends die, you know, trying to cross the border. And don't waste your life. Use your time. Use the resources you have. You know, you are in the United States. What can you do? You are invincible. You know, you have access to so many things. You know, you can choose your Bible, what version. You can choose the church that you want to. You can choose the ministry organization you want to be part of. I mean, it's amazing. These people risk their lives to come to the United States. And the children's lives. Have I seen it? Yes, I've seen them sending their children across the river, and they haven't seen them in months because they wanted to save them from the cartel infections, you know. And so when you hear next time of somebody just bashing immigrants, tell them, you know, all those 30 immigrants that are there, the majority are Christian evangelicals that call upon Jesus. And the Matamoros refugee camp has several churches that call upon Jesus. On the election night, they prayed all night for the new president of the United States because their lives depend on that. And they face coral snakes, rats, and so many things. They don't have electricity, they don't have running water. And you can be in Texas and you can see it. It's the first time that we have a refugee camp within our borders. And you know, something that is important is that this legal status of a person doesn't affect and doesn't dictate their value as a human. And the way we speak represents what we have in our minds and our hearts. And unfortunately, immigration should be non-partisan, but it has been taken as a sword. And these people are like you and I, you know, that want to have an opportunity to life. And so if you have any questions, please, PJ has all my information. But if you want to come for spring break, I'm praying that PJ can come to the frost down here. Hopefully we won't be frozen anymore. Come down. You can stay with me if you don't mind air mattresses. Jenna and Andrew, come on down, you know, and we feed you good Mexican food, you know. No Taco Bell. Please don't ask me to take you to Taco Bell, please, you know. But it's a blessing to be here, honored to see you guys. And so that's my take on immigration. You know, a lot of immigrants in the Bible, they were migrating. Abraham, Ruth, all the chicks included in Jesus' genealogy are immigrants. All of the girls included in Jesus' genealogy were immigrants, were foreigners, were not Jewish. And they're the only ones mentioned in Matthew chapter 1. So it is very important that we don't see immigration through a political lens, but through Jesus' ways and through the gospel. That's very important as people of faith. Thank you, guys.
Alma, thank you so much for being. Can we all give it up for her, please, please, please? Before we kind of close out this segment though and move on to video, Alma, how can we be praying for you?
Pray for safety. Pray for safety. Every time we cross, we don't know we're coming back. Pray for provision. We need monthly sponsors. If you would like to donate your Frappuccino of the month to our ministry, $5 a month, we will take your support. It will mean a lot because it's a lot of moral support and emotional support that we're not alone doing this crazy thing, risking our life for the sake of the gospel every week. We're going back to the camp tomorrow. There's a lot of policy changes in immigration, so we need to pray for safety for my friends, but pray for safety and provision.